I'm Holly McNeil, and this is my research proposal on an investigation into employee wellbeing and the influence that it has on employee retention. First off, the presentation will cover the research context, rationale, theoretical background, and research design and methodology. To fully carry out this project, I've chosen an organisation to work with, but they wish to remain anonymous, so they will be referred to as Company X throughout the project. They are a relatively small organisation, and they're within the construction industry, which is really large with around 1.36 million workers. So the company came to me and expressed their concerns over their recent increase in employee turnover. This is a new thing that the company has experienced. From the exit interviews and from past employees, they've really have to had a look at this subject, and they're wanting to investigate further to see if there is a link between Company X's lack of employee wellbeing strategies and focus towards it, and see if that has got any relation to how their employee retention rates have taken a bad turn. So moving on to the rationale of the project. So this subject is becoming more and more relevant in today's society. More people are being conscious of their health and their well-being. So the research has shown that 39.9% of professionals aren't actually happy in their current jobs, and it turns out the majority of these workers in fact looking for other jobs. This could be down to not liking their working hours, management, or their working environment. But it really shows that there is a concern for employees' happiness, and that they're not actually willing to commit to work for an organisation if their own interests and their own well-being isn't being looked after. So moving on to theoretical background, and first off we'll start with employee well-being. So employee well-being is all about trying to support your employees in their physical, emotional, work environment, and promoting healthy behaviours. So it's really about giving strategies, tools and social support to be able to improve employees' working lives. And it can be really beneficial for employees and employers. Each party does have a lot to gain from effective practices. First off, it really does create a positive working relationship. Employees feel that they are being looked after and that their well-being is taken seriously, and employers are gaining a stronger, more motivated workforce. So if we want to talk about Gallup's approach to improving employee well-being, it's basically a concise plan of how to implement an employee wellbeing scheme. So there's 4 stages to it: the audit, implementation, individual, team and enterprise-wide interventions, and ongoing improvement. So it's how to successfully implement an employee wellbeing strategy, and I think most importantly is the last stage of the ongoing improvement, because wellbeing's got it changes. Employees have got different needs and different wants, so it is really important to look back and make the necessary changes. So we've also got CIPD's wellbeing pyramid model, and that highlights the key components that you need to be able to achieve employee engagement. So it starts off with culture, leadership and people management, so you really need them. A strong foundation to be able to implement a wellbeing strategy. And then at the top of the pyramid there you've got high employee engagement levels. So it really does show you the link between employee wellbeing and engagement. So then if we move over to employee retention, retaining talented employees is essential to the success of an organisation. Employees development is a really expensive process. So employers really are an investment to an organisation, so that's why it's really important that they're actually able to retain those individuals. It's also shown that it's proven harder and harder to actually replace those talented employees. Shown that 64% of employers are struggling to fill the vacancies that they do have. And it does cause stress, morale problems and lower performance rates for the employees that are left. It's a big change when a lot of employees are leaving regularly, so that will impact on the employees that are left, and you're not wanting that at all. You've got to be able to look after and protect the well-being of the employees you have, so that essentially they don't leave and go to your competitor. And for this employee retention, we can look at Derry's framework. So basically that shows you the negative effects that employee strategies and industry attributes can have on the employees, and it also shows you positive strategies, well-being strategies, and the benefits that will have on the employees, like higher employee retention. So moving on to research, design and methodology. So throughout the research process, I used Wilson's honeycomb of research methodology, and it consists of research philosophy, research approach, research strategy, research design, data collection and data analysis. So back to research philosophy. So for this research project, I've chosen epistemology approach, which will be used, and we'll take the interpretism approach. So I picked these approaches because it's really based on the opinions of others, which is really important in my project, because I'm considering a lot of it's considering the views and the opinions of employees. I'll also be taking the ontology perspective, which will be used to focus on the subjectivism approach, that's considering the social aspects of the participant, so like how they are inclined to answer, so how and why they're answering in a specific way. And for my research project, it's important to consider, if people are influenced on, the people around them, management, that kind of thing. And on to research approach. So I've picked an inductive approach. So that's really good for my project because it considers new and existing research. So you need the fundamental backing, from the existing knowledge to give yourself a full understanding, of the knowledge already accumulated, and also like previous trends and stuff like that. But it's also important to consider new research, especially with employee wellbeing, which needs of employees change regularly. And then moving on to research strategy. So I've picked a qualitative approach, and that approach will be taken because it considers the opinions and characteristics of individuals. So that's really important when gathering data specifically from employees, because you've got to consider how people are fitting in a team, the opinions and how they're influenced by that, and then moving on to research design. The case study approach will be used. The primary focus will be on that, on employee wellbeing and the employee retention. As well with data collection, I've chosen, there's 3 types of interviews, but I've picked unstructured interviews, and they'll be used because they often provide a more genuine response. I feel like for my research project, if people went away with questions and they came in, it would be very rehearsed, for a structured interview, whereas I'm really looking at employees' genuine thoughts. So I've also used surveys, because they're great for being able to access a wide group of individuals. I think it's really important when you're trying to get a big understanding of really what's happening within an organisation. You want to be able to reach as many people as you possibly can, and surveys also give them the option to remain anonymous, so that's how you're going to get the most honest feedback, because they're not scared of the consequences from if their opinions are heard by management. So I've also moving on to the data analysis. I've picked the grounded theory, and this will be used to gather information, and give a good understanding of human behaviours to be able to provide a better insight into employees and how they are working within the organisation.